Welcome back to Animal Crossing New Horizons. I'm Neil Darling. I shall we see what's going on our lovely island of Fawnhallow today, where we have a bit of Happy Home Paradise episodes to be recording. Today I've got 3 more to do, I think. So I'm going to try and knock them out, and then I'll have like one Talos Principal episode to do, which shouldn't be too much. Maybe, I don't know, we'll find out. Excuse me. I don't know what we're going to talk about today. I did see the fact that Plants vs Zombies 3 is shutting down, and mine, we'll get to that in a second, but my initial reaction was, what? There's a Plants vs Zombies 3? But anyway, good evening everyone. Renowned Fawnhallow, it's 8:25 PM on Tuesday, October 15th, 2024. Oh, it's Leicester, so I guess there'll be some shooting stars. But yeah, I just saw on the r// games, gaming subreddit, one of a few subreddits I do check out quite frequently, that Plants vs Zombies 3, for 1, exists, and 2 is also shutting down, which is, I was like, I had no idea even it was even works came out, because I thought Plants vs Zombies 2 has been out for a while. Like, I played it back in high school, which is crazy to think about, and it was a live service game. How was it? As a sequel, not great, but as like a mobile app game to sort of like waste some time here and there, it's fine. It was, I'm not gonna lie, very blatant cash grab. But yeah, again, it was by EA. If anything, it's quite sad. Like, I feel like one of the comments I saw on that post, the Plants vs Zombies 3 one, very much resonated with me, where it was just like, it's an absolute travesty or something, like what EA ended up doing with PopCap. You know, they bought a publisher, or developer, I suppose, sorry, because EA are the publisher, with like some really nice, inventive like games, mechanics, and Plants vs Zombies like a magnum opus, magnum opus. Which is like a combination of all their work, and it has like some really fun, like quirky dialogue, really fun gameplay loop or something. Really captured a lot of people's hearts, especially in the early mid 2000s. I think it came out 2000. I'm gonna say 6. Plants vs Zombies. 2009. I was way off. Yeah. Like, it's crazy for like this random tower defense game to become such a big enough hit that it ends up having a spin-off and I suppose end up sequel. But then like EA button, and then Plants vs Zombies 2 comes out. Apparently they fired like the people who actually made Plants vs Zombies 1 in the first place, like immediately. And Plants vs Zombies 2 was just like a crazy sort of like cash grab-esque game. Like, you don't have to technically play it with microtransactions, but like a lot of it is like sort of way down with microtransactions that it ends up just sort of being like, eh. Like, at least when I played, it might have gotten worse in later worlds, but like the first worlds were like okay, but then you get to like some of the later worlds which start becoming like insanely difficult for really no reason. Like, I have like the first couple of worlds are like fine, but then like you get to Dark Ages, and Dark Ages are like insanely difficult for some reason, and then the next world's fine, and then it gets to a beach, and the beach is like one of the hardest worlds, at least when I was playing, because of that damn octopus zombie every single time. It was crazy because it was so insanely tanky, and it attacked relatively frequently, and its attack basically disabled one of your plants, I think on the back row as well, and you had to spend like damage to actually unwrap the octopus and basically nullified an entire spot for you, and that was insanely overpowered, which was not fun. But then we had like these power-ups and like plant food or whatever in the game to sort of like spice it up. I would say the power-ups not fun. Plant food, great idea. In my opinion, I thought the plant food was very cool. How much credit goes to EA, how much goes to the original creators, I don't know. But it's a real shame, because I loved the first Plants vs Zombies. I played it so much, and just to see the sequel sort of like die by corporate greed, I suppose. You know, I'm not here to sort of like rant and rave about capitalism. I'm sure you can find people to do that in your own time. But it's just like, it's really such a shame. It was a really like great, fun game. So nostalgic, I suppose, for me as well. And you know, it's a great time, but you know, the sequel just not good, or like not good enough, I should say, for what it could have been. Just too much heart on its sleeve of just like, hey, we're here to make money off of you, and it's just like, that's really disappointing. I mean, I suppose it's rich of me to say it from like the mobile market, you know, like, oh, you partake in playing catch games, and yet you criticize the mobile market for having a heavy influence to microtransactions. That's true, but I think it's a bit different when it's a game which did not start as this like microtransaction fiesta mobile game market thing, and was like this very neat, tidy package, a game you play for however long, and then it's done when it's done, becoming one, you know, especially with like PopCap, which are just like a really tiny studio from what I remember. Like I remember playing their games, like you used to be able to play like flash versions of our games on their website. Not all of them, but Insane Aquarium, I remember, like I think started out as like a flash game on the website, and I had so much fun playing it. Excuse me. When I was younger, just like spending hours just playing it over and over again, and then it came out on Steam. But I like, you know, I think I was in primary school at that time, so I didn't like have a lot of money to just randomly spend online, or at least like I didn't have a card or something, and I don't know. I never ended up buying it, which is a shame. But I didn't like the style of it as much, like because the one on Steam was like, it's okay, you know, it's got this sort of like very soft, I'm not sure, like plasticine sort of look. It's probably how to describe it. But it's okay, like it was like an upgrade. It sort of does feel a bit retro in a sec, but the one on the web browser had like these really nice sort of pixel animated graphics, and what I remember is that the animations actually had a lot of life in them. Let's see, Insane Aquarium. See people still. Yeah, I'm not saying the one on Steam is bad or anything, or one, but like, let's see. Browser version. Does anyone have the original one? Original Insane Aquarium Online. Okay, the graphics did not hold up as I remembered. Looking at them. Yeah, the graphics didn't really hold up, but I guess that's a rose-tinted glasses. You got to take them off at some point. But yeah, I'm trying to think what else PopCat did. PopCat did Peggle, right? That was like a huge hit as well. Especially, like, I'm gonna be honest, Peggle really works on the mobile devices. It's absolutely the sort of game where you just like pick up and play for a little bit and you put it away. I wouldn't really put it as a sort of game where it's like, oh, you know, you spend microtransactions or whatever on it, but I don't know. I guess it's just a shame to see. I mean, it's always a shame to see something that you love, that you really enjoy, slowly I was gonna say die, and I was just like, obviously I mean it was in like a media property way, but not in a, I don't mean it in the way of like actual mortality, you know, which I understand. My choice of words was not really the best, but you know, just as I suppose the better way to put it is to really love a game or really love something and then just have a sequel just completely flop. And I guess it kind of feels even a bit worse if it flops for a reason which is not based off creative decision making. Like, I'm trying to think of a good example off the top of my head. Like, I mean, it's not really a good example because I don't think Last of Us really flopped per se, but certainly it was a controversial, I suppose, what ended up happening. Last of Us, beloved game, that sort of thing, and Last of Us 2 come out, and a lot of people ended up sort of like being like, ugh, it's not what I wanted from a game. But that one isn't, no, I personally don't think it's due to like micromanagement or like, you know, and with the intent of making money. I mean, obviously they intend to make money with a product. That's, you know, at the end of the day, that's when you're selling a product, that's one of the aims. But like, it's just like the creative team behind it had maybe a different vision from what the people who played it ended up loving about the game. Is that fine? Yeah. I mean, I don't see why not. Does it suck? Yeah, I think it does suck, especially if you're one of the people who are just like, oh, this ended up affecting the things, something that I really liked, and now it's sort of just like, that's it, it's gone. And there's not really much you can do about it, I suppose. I mean, I say there's not much you can do about it. There's not much you can do in like an official sense, but I suppose this is why fan creations exist in the first place. You know, fanfics, fan art, etc., etc. You can make your reality, well, whatever reality you want, to be honest. You're not beholden to the whims or whatever official canon has to say. You can kind of do whatever. But it's still a shame nonetheless, right? You know, it's always nice to imagine, I suppose, a perfect alternate timeline where it's like, oh, you play the game and it just ended up being perfect, like Plants vs Zombies 2. Trying to find Neopets Pound. Actually, just my lab rat pet just got turned into zombie. Yeah, it's always just, it's just a shame, you know, seeing that happen. And I think Plants vs Zombies is like one of the big ones where it actually happened to something I actually like was invested in, and the sequel was not very good. I mean, I'm sure it probably happened in other situations as well. It's a bit difficult to sort of pluck those memories off the top of my head. Yeah. What else can I say about that? There's not really much. It's just sort of like, it's just like, it's a shame. There's nothing more to it. It's a shame. It's a shame of what could have been in a different life, in a different world, where the people working on it cared a great deal about it, loved things about it, wanted to see it shine, and put in the effort to, I suppose, create something about it. And like, obviously the things I'm saying seem to rely a lot on the creator, which is not fair, because a lot of the time, you know, sometimes micromanagement means it's impossible. Sometimes it will just end up being a case where people are just like, oh, you know, that's it. But that's just how it ends up going. Like micromanagement or management just sort of come along and be like, oh, you know, you're not allowed this or anything like that. This is just how it's gonna be, and it is a shame. Anyway, I mean, there's a lot of like things which are being released, sequels, which people hope live up to a hype. You know, I mean, the one I can think of top of my head is definitely Riot Arcane, which is coming out. I don't remember. Was Squid Game 2 coming out? I'll say I'm more hyped for Riot Arcane 2, because that's one where it's like I want a sequel to it. Squid Game 2, I'm just sort of like, I don't really care if it's a sequel. In my opinion, the first Squid Game was pretty good as like a tidy package, and the ending seemed to be written in such a way to sort of entice a sequel, and I'm like, that's not what I'm looking for in this. I think it's a nice, tidy, neat package, made you feel, made you happy, made you sad. Does it need anything else? Maybe, I suppose, depending on your own perspective. Maybe. But yeah, I forgot what I was going to say about this. Just like, I don't know. I like to imagine what the Plants vs Zombies 2 sequel could have been like. A very sort of like neat, tidy package. Put together a game you beat. Maybe it's like, I don't know, 20 hours long or something. That's quite long, to be honest. Probably longer than I expect, but it has like a load of challenges. So if you want 100% it, you got to do that. If anything, it's making me nostalgic for first person Plants vs Zombies a lot. I wonder why. Has anyone tried to make like a sort of like a spiritual successor to Plants vs Zombies, like a tribute to it? It feels like it would be a game that's sort of like ripe. Well, I don't know how much do people care that much about what's the word? Tower defense games at the moment. I'm not sure the market's also huge for them. Like the only one I can think of which has much of a market, like much of a demand, is Bloons tower defense. That's something that people particularly love, right? Yeah. I don't know where else I was going with this. Just like, I don't know. It's fun to imagine what Plants vs Zombies would have been like. Plants vs Zombies 2, spiritual successor, when Plants vs Zombies 3 come out. What other games did PopCap make? Because I feel like Peggle wasn't as badly hit in the end. Peggle, Bejeweled, I forgot about. I mean, to be fair, Bejeweled is sort of screaming for mobile play. I don't even know these other games. PopCap games. List of PopCap games. Zuma is familiar as a name, but I can't remember it. Like, that's how pervasive I suppose Plants vs Zombies was for me. I was like, it was so good that I ended up like looking up all the other different games they had. Why is Plants vs Zombies not even hot? Was Plants vs Zombies Heroes? It was a card game. Oh, actually, I know about that, right? They have like the super sunflower, no, super pea shooter or whatever. Battle for Nableville. I don't even know what this is. This is Garden Warfare sequel, basically. Yeah, okay. The 3rd installment. Seriously, I had no idea it was a Plants vs Zombies 3. Released January this year. Okay, that's actually very fast shutdown. How did it shut down so quickly? What happened? What happened? Feels nowhere as in depth as Plants vs Zombies 2. It's genuinely real shame. Oh, it does have the old ones here. Bejeweled, Big Money, what? Bonnie's Bookstore. Were they the ones who made Diner Dash as well? Or was that someone else? Diner Dash. Oh, Game Lab published by Play First. I just have a crazy memory of like the fact that the initial like very first sort of like Microsoft Game Store or something, you could play, at least on my old like Windows Vista computer, that it would give you like a credit a month where you could play one of their games for like half an hour, and the game I always chose to spend that like credit on was Diner Dash. It wouldn't save your progress or anything, so it's basically get as far as you can in Diner Dash in half an hour. Yeah, I don't know if all of these games you could play online. That's what I remember. At least. Oh, you know what I was going to talk about? I was going to talk about that bluffing game that came out. What's it called? Liar's Bar or something, because I've been seeing clips of that like everywhere. I had no idea where it came from, and just suddenly popped up. So I guess, you know, if you want to get ahead of the action, that's when you... I don't think it's going to get to the heights of Lethal Company, but I think it could do pretty well. I think it's like an SCP, whatever that game was, sort of level. People are going to play it, and then, you know, I don't know. I wonder how much more you can expand upon it. Anyway, that's a conversation for another time, to be honest. Now we're just talking about the sadness of some of the sequels. Well, we were, but we'll stop now, and we'll talk about Happy in Paradise, because I need to record quite a few videos. So if you have been watching, thank you very much. It's been Animal Crossing New Horizons. I've been dear darling. Likes, comments, subscription, shares, greatly appreciated. Socials, Discord down below. Hope to see each other again, but for now, it's our farewell. So until next time, bye-bye for now.